Are men more romantic than women? The quick answer is yes. The long answer is still yes, but here's why. Let me start by asking you this question. Of the two sexes, who has written the most books, poems, songs, movies, etc. about love? Who do you think has done so the most, men or women? Clearly, men. Now there are many reasons for this. Some men would say because they're simps, they're a bunch of simps. But to look a little deeper, you could say it's because it was mostly men that had access to those materials, to make those books, poems, and so on. Or it was men that saw the formats as a viable way to spread their creativity and to make money and so on. But the point I want to focus on is, are we as men able to produce most forms of media that speak of love and romance? Because we see love and romance in such a deeper, or let's say different way. Not that women do not love, but it's how deep men love. How some men fall so deep in love that it evokes such an emotion, one so deep that they can then transcribe into material for others to consume, to read, to watch, to listen to. So the books, movies and songs etc. that men have made through their passion, that in itself should be an indication of how deep many can feel. Now I will address this point briefly. One can say that the narrative of a Prince Charming coming to save a woman, this mythical man that can read her thoughts with nothing but a glance, the daring adventurous rogue of a man who only has eyes for her and her alone, a man that is chivalrous to the core. Yeah, you can say it is the authors, directors and composers of those thoughts that are to blame for putting those thoughts in women's heads in the first place, causing them to chase the idea of a man that does not even exist. Many of us as men know of certain women with high expectations. Some expectations to the point where you have to ask, does she want a man, or God himself, or maybe Thanos will suffice? But the fact is, men are masters of conveying love. Some would say again because they're simps, but let's carry on. Some of the most popular women's love songs, for instance, are about heartbreak. How she will move on, she didn't need him, she gave her all to him and he left her and blah blah blah. Strange how many of the most popular women's love songs are ones of hurt, and how they will now recover themselves from this hurt. Interesting. But besides the works of fictional love, the everyday man understands what it is to even be the slightest romantic, because many have had to be so. If not, they have had to have some understanding of romance. It's not all men here, but many of us have had to. You see, as men, many of us understand it's about what you have to be as a man in presenting yourself. What can you provide as a man to a woman? It's about what we say. Are we saying the right thing? There are so many small intricacies and hoops that many men have to go through, and many of these things women rarely have to worry about, because that is seen as a man's duty, to be the romancer, and she is the one to be romanced. I mean, this is why men stress so hard and spend far more on Valentine's Day. Even in dating, it's a sense of where is he going to take her? Where are you going to take her? How are you going to woo her? Sweep her off her feet? Even before the date, it's about how you approach her. Whether it's online or in person, it's a sense of, will you say something original she has not heard before? Many men have had no choice but to learn, or just to even understand the simple basics of romance. It's not just at the beginning of a relationship, but also throughout. How men are expected to keep it alive, keep that spark alive. Now this wasn't part of the video, but let me add this small part. A thought just came to me. Do you ever wonder if there are women out there who just move from man to man because they enjoy the highs they get from new dates, new men who will try hard just to get close to her, and how she may get a thrill from these new men who will then try to romance her? I could be wrong, and even if I am right, I'm sure it's only a very, very minute small amount of women that would ever do anything like that. But let's carry on. The fact is, we as men are the most romantic, because we have no choice but to be. For instance, ask any man who thought it was okay to not get his woman anything for Valentine's Day because she said so. Now, not speaking of women that literally did not want anything. No, it's just the thing of her saying she does not want anything, but really she wants you to surprise her. And how many men have fallen for it and not gotten her anything. Many men have to be romantic because they have no choice. And to summarize, of course, the greatest creators of romance are the ones that understand it the most, the ones that have had to learn it. Be he a simple man or a player, many men have had to understand this. The strange thing is, and somewhat sad thing is, we as men are so simple that all a woman needs to do is look good, and we would write novels, sing songs, and build statues in their honor, and do all these grand fine works simply just to get some. Simply just to get some. The thing is, most men don't want a woman to romance them. They just want her to give it up. Now they've spent so much time and money romancing her. The term romantic fool exists for a reason. The question is, who came up with that term? A man who is on a romantic pursuit of a woman, or the woman fleeing from those doughy-eyed advances? The romantic fool, created by the one chasing, or the one being chased? Nevertheless, learn to love yourself before you expect anyone else to. To be romantic at heart, but to only have F's to give. Some would say literally. As in, to focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.